Jesus would come, look forward, and said this: "In that day, the branch of the Lord will be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the land will be the pride and glory of the survivors in Israel. Those who are left in Zion, who remain in Jerusalem, will be called holy, all who are recorded among the living in Jerusalem. The Lord will wash away the filth of the women of Zion. He will cleanse the blood stains from Jerusalem by a spirit of judgment and a spirit of fire. Then the Lord will create over all Mount Zion and over those who assemble there a cloud of smoke by day and a glow of flaming fire by night. Over everything the glory will be a canopy, and it will be a shelter and shade from the heat of the day, and a refuge and a hiding place from the storm and the rain." Last week, for those of us that could gather, we looked at John 15 that talked about Christ as a vine and we are the branches. This passage 700 years before, Christ is pictured as a branch, like a tree that's a shoot out in the midst of a desolate wasteland where lots of trees used to be. But now there's this one shoot coming up that grows into a tree or a vine, and it echoes the story throughout the scriptures. The Genesis 1 and 2 describes the tree of life, and then Revelation 22 goes to the tree of life that's a healing for the nations. The thing that connects the two is this branch. The Eden that we were made for, the glory that we will one day experience, happens only through the one that became a branch, a vine, who died on a tree. And so one day he will not be desolate as what ended in his first coming prior to his resurrection, but his resurrection is a seed and a promise and a shadow of a fuller resurrection for all of us. So Isaiah prophesies that the branch one day would be beautiful and glorious. So he's looking at Israel's desolation. We connect to our desolation in these times, but we remember with hope there's a future restoration to come. We've been singing a song together, "May the daughters of Zion rejoice, how long, because for all the people of God, the daughters of Zion, the sons of Zion, we long to be cleansed from our darkness. In this political season, it's real easy to look at lots of people we can point fingers at, but we are a part of that darkness as well. The church in our culture has been less of the voice that God longs for us to be, but he holds out hope, despite our failing, that the filth that characterizes many of us, the uncleanness, the darkness, one day will be washed completely clean. So the shame that you and I feel deep down, one day will be gone. And he goes back to this picture of Israel in the wilderness when a fire by night and a cloud by day would guide them so that they would know that God's presence was among them, even in the midst of the wilderness. He says there will be a day where the presence of God is fully known and realized, and he, this great vine, this great tree, will be a shelter and shade from the heat of the day and a refuge and a hiding place from the storm and the rain. In fact, there will no longer be any storm and rain, no darkness. There will be light of the presence of God forever for us. So as we live in a pandemic, as we live in a racially divided, politically divided place, we remember as we look forward and celebrate Jesus' first advent, as we remember that that happened and we're longing for his second advent when he'll make all things new. We remember that we are branches in his vine. He's the ultimate vine and branch. He's growing us into to be together a people who will be cleansed from our sin and restored and fully renewed. That's our Advent hope. As surely as Jesus coming for the first time introduced the branch of the Lord, there will be a day, new heavens and new earth, when God's kingdom comes down to this earth, when everything will be made new, and the tree that he offers will have fruit that will bring healing to the nations. All of our heartache, all of our struggle with evil, one day will be made completely whole and full and complete. So that's our Advent hope